Pass it. Does everybody have a note card and an album material to pass out? Are you good to go? Okay, well, we did our book review on Beezus and Ramona. Raise your hand if you've read this or are familiar with Beezus and Ramona. Okay. All right, well, Beezus and Ramona is written by Beverly Cleary. It is an entire series. A lot of people think it's just one book, but there are multiple books, and they're written all the way up until when she goes from about 4 years old to about 4th, 5th grade in the series. This is book 1. And on your sheet, if you see the movie adaptation, does anybody notice something right off the bat that's different? Ebony.
It has Beezus and Ramona first on the book, and then it's opposite on the movie.
Right. Okay, what you'll notice about this book is it's Beezus and Ramona. Beezus is the older sister, and Ramona is the younger sister. And Beezus is complaining about her younger sister is so exasperating, and she drives her crazy, and she's annoying. And the rest of the books follow little Ramona. So this kind of changes perspective from the first book to the books that follow. So we're going to do a little quiz really quick to get started.
So if everybody just has a little scrap sheet of paper, there's only 5 little questions, so yeah, you can write on the back of this sheet or whatever. So we're going to find out if you are a Beezus or a Ramona. So our first question is, your favorite Saturday afternoon activity would be A, visiting the library and borrowing a stack of books you can curl up with and read for the rest of the day, or B, leading an invisible parade in the backyard, twirling sticks as batons, shouting orders at the onlookers, and pounding the ground with your boots. All right. Our next question is, it's a busy day outside. Music is playing, car horns are honking, kids are screaming, and birds are chirping. What do? Close all the windows and doors and get as far away as you can. It is too noisy. Or run outside and start singing and clapping loudly. You have to join in. All right. Your parents are hosting a dinner party at your house. When the guests arrive, you take the coats and fold napkins in the kitchen. You are there to be as polite and helpful as possible. Or put on a show you have been preparing all afternoon using the dining table as your stage. These parties are boring. You're there to help make things fun. When a neighbor comes over to show you his new dog, you let it lie in your lap while you pet it. Dogs are the cutest when they are resting. Take it on a run around the neighborhood as fast as you can. Dogs were meant to race. All right. Your ideal birthday party would include a small group of your closest friends and family at home for presents and cake, or a giant party outside with everyone you know. The sky's the limit. So, tally up whether you answered mostly A's and B's, or B's. And if you answered mostly A's, you're like Beezus. You have a great time with friends and family. When you can, enjoy a quiet afternoon together. You're very polite and well-behaved. You enjoy reading in your spare time and go to your closest family members when you have a problem or need advice. You are happiest in a calm, relaxing environment. Or if you chose mostly B's, you're like Ramona. You're rambunctious and sometimes find yourself in a bit of trouble. You love to create noise and chaos. You have the most fun when you are free to explore and run around as much as you like. You are very imaginative. You are happiest in a loud, exciting environment.
Okay, now we know that quiz was very simple and fun, but it's just something that you can do to get your kids to relate to the characters, especially as kind of like a pre-activity before you start reading. So I'm going to start reading. We're actually going to do 2 readings, one at the beginning and one at the end, just to show you the transition in the book. Okay, chapter 1 is called Beezus and Her Little Sister. Beatrice Quimby's biggest problem was her little sister Ramona. Beatrice, or Beezus, as everyone called her because that was what Ramona called her when she first learned to talk, knew other 9-year-old girls who had little sisters who went to nursery school, but she did not know anyone with a sister like Ramona. Beezus felt that the biggest trouble with 4-year-old Ramona was that she was just plain exasperating. If Ramona drank lemonade through a straw, she blew into the straw as hard as she could to see what would happen. If she played with her finger paints in the front yard, she wiped her hands on the neighbor's cat. That was the exasperating sort of thing Ramona did. And then there was the way she behaved about her favorite book. Ramona took the harmonica out of her mouth. "No," she said, "read my Scoopy book to me." "Oh, Ramona, not Scoopy," protested Beezus. "We've read Scoopy so many times." Instead of answering, Ramona put her harmonica between her teeth and pedaled around the room, inhaling and exhaling. Beezus had to lift her feet every time Ramona rode by. The knot in Beezus's thread pulled the material through the potholder, and she gave up trying to conceal it as she would a secret and tied a bigger knot. Finally, tired of trying to keep her feet out of Ramona's way, she put down her embroidery. "All right, Ramona," she said, "if I read about Scoopy, will you stop riding your tricycle around the living room and make so much noise?" "Yes," said Ramona, and climbed off her tricycle. She ran into the bedroom she shared with Beezus and returned with a battered, dog-eared sticky book, which she handed to Beezus. Then she climbed into the big chair beside Beezus and waited expectantly. Reflecting that Ramona always managed to get her own way, Beezus gingerly took the book and looked at it with a feeling of great dislike. It was called The Littlest Steam Shovel. On the cover was a picture of a steam shovel with big tears coming out of its eyes. How could a steam shovel have eyes, Beezus thought, and scarcely looking at the words, began for what seemed like the 100th or maybe the 1,000th time. "Once there was a little steam shovel named Scoopy. One day Scoopy said, 'I do not want to be a steam shovel, I want to be a bulldozer.'" "You skipped," interrupted Ramona. "No, I didn't," said Beezus. "Yes, you did," insisted Ramona. "You're supposed to say, 'I want to be a big bulldozer.'" "Oh, all right," said Beezus crossly. "I want to be a big bulldozer." Ramona smiled contentedly, and Beezus continued reading. "Grrr," said Scoopy, doing its best to sound like a bulldozer. Beezus read on through Scoopy's failure to be a bulldozer. She read about Scoopy's wanting to be a trolley bus. "Beep, beep," honked Ramona. "A locomotive. A-hooey, wailed Ramona. "And a pile driver. Clunk, clunk," shouted Ramona. Beezus was so glad when she finally reached the end of the story, and Scoopy learned it was best for little steam shovels to be steam shovels. "There," she said with relief, and closed the book. She always felt foolish trying to make noises like machinery. Oh, hold on a second. So the cards that you have, we actually chose to do what do you call it?
Trailer.
The trailer. I was going to say commercial, of course. The trailer for the movie, because you'll see that the movie is very different than the book. Like your note cards, if you have music, because it goes by really quickly, we want you to focus on the music in the commercial. If you have a C, focus on the characterization of the characters and how they're portrayed in the commercial, or the preview, I'm sorry. If it says FT, focus on the film techniques, lighting, all the panning, all the stuff that we have on that sheet.
And then we have trans. That's the transition from the beginning to the end. See how the trailer.
You notice a difference.